Alright, bearded appliance repair. Got a noisy LG dryer. We also got an interesting situation here. It's got one with a new folding table on it. But you can remove the back piece, which makes it easier for this ductwork. But anyways, that's besides the point. We're gonna get this noise here. That little squeak there. We're going to investigate that. Likely it's going to be one of these parts here. There's 4 rollers, idler pulley, and a belt. This is the Suppco brand. This is what they sell at my local parts place. So we're going to take it apart. We're going to see what may be the cause of it, and yeah, go from there. First thing we're going to do, turn her off. Unplug it and take it apart. What I'm going to try to do is not have to move this thing out that much. Maybe I can get the back or this guy out this way. Maybe. That's what I'm going to try. So we got screws down here. Oh, and on these, that's right. It's been a while since I've seen one of these. We want to take out. Yeah. Where is it? Is there not even one on there? Ah. Looks like there's just one in the middle. One in the middle. We're gonna take that out first. Yeah, with these LG dryers, if you don't see, well, there's normally 2 screws in it. Is that gonna work? Nah, it's not gonna work. Too tight. Unless I pull this thing out a little bit. Might be able to get it out now. Let's see. No, still too tight. Or maybe out the front. Yeah, it don't matter. Because we're where I want to be. To get this off. So let's go ahead and scoot this thing back. To get this front panel off. Next thing we got to do, get this bad boy off. Those 2 screws. Now the way these come off, got these tabs. You pretty much lift up on them because these things are on these tabs. Once you lift up on them, you can pry it out. And then from there, you just disconnect these. If they'll let you. Now, right here, not all LGs make you disconnect the wiring from the control board like this one here. Some of them, the wires will go through that metal bracket there, and it'll be connection to the harness going down, somewhere else into it, so it's a lot easier. This one in particular, they make you disconnect it from the board, unfortunately. This is the harder one, so if you got one with just the connections, it'll be a lot easier for you. Alright, that port is done. Next, one of these guys. Now, once those screws are taken out up top there, there's two more here on the door down there by the lint clean out. Two screws down there. You see it fall forward there. Then we got that door switch harness removed from the door switch. And be careful, guys. A lot of that metal is very, very sharp. So be careful not to cut yourself. But once you get that off, you hinge it back and you can lift it up and go set that front panel elsewhere, so you can continue to do what you need to do to disassemble this to get to those rollers, to get to that idler pulley. So what we got next is taking off that metal bracket on the top. I believe there's might be 6 screws, 4 to 6 screws. We'll see as we watch it. Yeah, it looks like two on the front, 2 on the top, so it looks like 4. Then we take that bracket off. We also will be taking off that duct at the bottom, and also that front piece that holds in the drum itself. And yes, you have to take all this off to get to the rollers, to get to the idler pulley, all of that, to get this guy fixed. And what I am failing to get footage of right now, there's these plastic things that hold on the harness as it goes across the back of it, and you just remove the wires from them. It's fairly simple. If you just take a look at them, you guys should be able to figure out how they get out of there. But we got the screws that hold on that front piece, and then the duct work down there. It's a lot easier to get that ducting down on the bottom off once that lint screen's out. Then it just falls right down. Boom. And right here, guys, that is a perfect thing to clean out while you guys have it taken apart. So we like to do that before we put it all back together. But while we're just fixing this, we're going to continue to get that front panel off that holds on that drum. You pretty much just lift it and pull it out, and then it'll release, and that front of that drum's exposed, so you can get that out. But before we get that out, you will have to remove the belt. And I try to get my camera in a really good spot so you guys can actually see how we actually get this belt off. But you might have seen me there messing with those rollers, trying to feel them, see what they feel like, to see where that noise is coming from. But right here, this is the best view I can get for you guys on this belt. It's wrapped around that pulley, which is, it's on a spring. That's how you get the tension on it. And then also around the motor. So you put your hands in there, pull that pulley up, and then it'll release the tension on it, where you can unwrap it and get that drum out. And you're doing that blind. You cannot see what you're doing with your hands, so you just got to do it by memory. Once you do it once or 10 times or a few times, you'll never forget it. It's easy peasy, but that first time it will take you some time. Now this idler pulley, I'm noticing that it's not spinning freely like these rollers are. See how you spin them? They just continue to spin. When you spin the idler, it doesn't spin very far. It maybe gets a turn, maybe 2 turns, and then that's it. That idler pulley is what's going to be making that noise. Those ones that are stiff like that, once they warm up, there's some grease or something in there, and as it's turning, and then it just starts squealing, and it'll drive you nuts. But the problem on this is the idler pulley, and I'm going to be showing you guys here soon that what a rough one versus a new one looks like. So it'll give you maybe a better of an idea of what the issue is. So yeah, I'm gonna pick this thing up. We're gonna show you how much it will turn once I get my camera back on my head here, and then we'll show you a bad one like this one. It's just a little stiff. It spins, but not as fast as it needs to. And that's a good one right there. It gives another 2, 3, 4 more turns. That one there, maybe a half of one, maybe one. Those are the things that make noise. So yeah, we know that idler is the problem here. So we're gonna go ahead and put that new one on. You see, I took that spring off too while getting it off. Make sure you guys get that back in the right spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to get that belt back on properly, and just be a big old nightmare for you. But it's a 10 millimeter bolt that's holding this one on, and it's got a bushing there where the pulley system bracket will fit nicely into it, so it's hard to mess it up. But yeah, it's a 10 millimeter screw here. You just tied it down till it's snug. Once it's snug, you got that spring to reinstall as well. If you don't reinstall that, you won't have any tension on your belt whenever you go to put that back on. There it is, guys. Idler pulley is pretty much on. Once you get the bolt and spring on, I like to make sure everything's working right, everything's moving like it's supposed to, so you don't have to put it all back together and find out something messed up. You gotta take it all apart again and rework it a little bit. But here's this pulley down here. It's a little rough. It's not spinning smoothly. This is another culprit that can be that squeal. So I went ahead and swapped that one out. Real easy to do. You pretty much got a nut on one end, and I use vice grips to hold the post, because how these ones come, they have the roller inside the post already. So you replace the whole assembly. You can't just do the roller sometimes, but it's better to do the post and the roller, especially with these aftermarket kits, because they just do not fit 100% right all the time. Sometimes you'll have to shave them down with some sandpaper, the posts, so they fit right. So I like swapping out the whole thing. And I will say, doing this on the back bulkhead is a real pain. It won't hurt my feelings if you guys don't replace those posts on the back there, just because of how much of a pain they are. There's a little plastic seal thing wrapped around those threads there to keep them protected. So I'm just cutting that off so we can get that thing on properly once we stick it back in the hole there. But yeah, pretty much self-explanatory there. As long as those threads are the same, you won't have any issue getting those things back on. OEM parts are better, but they are more expensive. So if you guys want no issues putting these things back together whatsoever, I'd recommend getting LG stuff. And I'll have these parts linked in the description down below. Either you got to get them individually, which is more expensive, or you get these kits that are already made for you, which are a bit cheaper, but some of them are made cheaper as well. So once we get this thing back on, then here comes the fun part. We're gonna tackle those pulleys on the rear bulkhead here as well, and just forewarning, they are not fun. And if you guys actually, any technicians out there watching this, if you guys have a better way of replacing these things, please share with me in the comment section below. I will be paying attention to the comments on this one, just to see if there is an easier way. But the nuts on these are on the back side, and they're just not easy to get to, not a lot of room. Alright, the footage I had for that roller on the left hand side, it was a time lapse, and I didn't want to make you guys dizzy, so I'm pretty much just throwing that footage out. It's pretty much unusable. But what I ended up doing was loosening up the bulkhead. There's screws holding it in, and I loosened it up so I can get myself a little bit more room back there to get these nuts off of this. And like I was saying earlier, if these aren't in bad shape, wouldn't hurt my feelings if you guys leave them in there. But if it continues to squeal afterwards, you know what the problem is. You guys can try to tackle this if you guys really want to, but just know those back ones they're not easy. Now, how I got them off? I got them off with a ratchet on the back side and vice grips up front. The new set I have here, it's a hex head on both sides. It's got a hex nut in the back and it's hex up front, so you can use 2 ratchets to get them on. So the next time you swap them out should be a little bit easier. But anyways, putting it back on, getting my fingers back there to hold the nut on, and I try to screw it into place. So then you'll see me get a ratchet here, get it on the back side, get it around that nut, and then we'll get the other ratchet and we'll tighten that sucker up. As long as you're going the right way, it will tighten up. Don't go lefty-loosey like I was doing just now. So I wasn't tightening up anything. Rookie mistake. But that's what happens when it's your last one and these things are just ticking you off. You tend to not realize what you're doing. You're just like, is it gonna be over yet? But yeah, there we go. We're tightening up this bad boy now, and then we will be done. So that's all 4 of them rollers. I failed you guys on that other back side, but take a look around. There's these screws that are holding in that bulkhead, and you guys can loosen those up to give you guys a little bit of, extra room to get the socket back there. The smaller socket, the better, especially on the rear end. That'll help out with, make sure you got enough clearance. But then again, you don't have a lot of leverage with those small ones either. So you gotta work with what you got. So all those rollers are put in, new idler pull in. That should take care of all the squeaks. If you guys have another squeak after this, likely it's going to be maybe your felt that goes around the drum. That there, if it's metal on metal instead of that felt rubbing on the metal, you guys can hear some squeals as well. But those looked good on mine. Not worried about that stuff there. So it's time to put this thing back together finally. I'm just going to let you guys watch me put it back together, and I'll chime in at the end. looks like we got it done. This here can be a little bit of a job, guys. A lot of stuff to remember. A lot of screws to put back in. This one was a pain because it's, it's got that countertop on top. And I didn't want to disconnect the dryer. That's another thing. Disconnecting the ductwork is a pain too. But yeah. Parts replaced. Turn it on. Sounds great. Everything's good to go. One thing to note, for all you guys that stayed to the end, got some good information for you. If it doesn't work after you turn it on, hit start, you probably did not hook up that door switch. I'm saving that for all you folks who stayed here to the end. Otherwise, those other guys are going to be like, oh, what happened? I don't know what's wrong. So, this is it, guys. Bearded Appliance Repair here. LG dryer squeal problem on this guy. I appreciate y'all watching, and like and subscribe if it's helped, and y'all have a good day.